Taking a look now at the starting five for Ohio. Ryan Taylor, another guy to keep an eye on, 6'5" freshman, averaging 14.5 points per game. For Nebraska, Siobhan Shields, averaging just under 17 points a game this season. He's at 12.5 in this tournament, along with 7 rebounds. Ohio 4-5 overall, 1-3 away from home this season. Cornhuskers 7-4, 2-3 though since a 5-1 start. And their head coach Tim Miles, in his third year, was the Big Ten and Jim Phelan National Coach of the Year last year. First season at Ohio for Saul Phillips.
These guys spent 4 years together at North Dakota State, and then Phillips took over for Tim Miles when he moved on. But Phillips has won the only head-to-head matchup these two great friends have ever had.
So Nebraska will control here to get this 5th place game going. And it is quickly Siobhan Shields going to work.
And when you talk about guys that understand how to get to the basket and know how to attack, you're going to see two of the best. And Siobhan Shields is at the free throw line, and Teran Petaway. Both these guys know how to find their way to the rim. They put extreme amounts of pressure on opposing defenses. Shields wasting no time getting the ball at the free throw line, putting in the first, and that gets the scoring started here. Second one is good as well. Shields, a 6'7", 220-pound junior from Olathe, Kansas. And a quick 2-0 advantage for the Huskers. Ohio, mentioned the 4-5 overall record. 2-4, though, over the last 6 games following a 2-1 start this season. And this is where Nebraska hangs their hat. They feel as though they're one of the better defensive teams in the country, and they just need the offense to pick up as well. But they know they can get the job done on this end. This is Tony Campbell, 6'8", 260-pound sophomore, had it stripped away. And Nebraska in transition. Siobhan Shields and one. Wow. Well, I told you before, they know how to get to the rim. And Petaway doing a great job finding his teammate. Siobhan Shields knows exactly where the rim is and is able to finish with the acrobatic look high off the glass. Merry Christmas indeed. The foul on Maurice Endor, and the three-point play is good. And right now it's Siobhan Shields 5, Ohio nothing. And one of the things about Petaway, the biggest score, led the Big Ten in scoring last year at 18 points a game, but not a guy that's going to take selfish shots. He's more of a playmaker than he is anything else, and he wants to get his teammates involved. Here's Endor, 6'9" senior from Senegal, and that one got blocked, but a foul will be called. Officiating crew, Mike Greenstein, Jose Carrion, and Terry Moore. First foul on Teran Petaway. And that's one of the things that Petaway has seen a lot of in this tournament. He spent both of the games, majority of the first half, on the bench with 2 fouls. So it's important for him to stay out of foul trouble. And that's not one he want to go out and foul Endor early in the game and have to play knowing that you have that one foul hanging over your shoulder. Endor making the first free throw, but you mentioned the foul trouble for Petaway. Nebraska getting off to a losing start in this tournament, falling to host Hawaii 66-58 on the opening day. Able to bounce back against a feisty LMU team. They won in overtime 50-42 a couple of days ago. But they're playing really without their best player for the majority of the first half of both of those games. Here's Benny Parker with it. Diminutive for sure. 5'9" junior. And the shot is up and in by Petaway. These two guys, when you talk about Shields and Petaway, the top scoring tandem in the Big Ten right now, averaging over 35 points per game between the two of them. It's a quick trigger coming out of the palm of Mike Laster, and the rebound to Petaway. Petaway with a lightning quick first step. He can get to the rim almost at will at times. Shields kicks it to the deep corner. It's Parker for 3, and he drops it. And Nebraska off and rolling here on Christmas Day, Corey. Well, I can tell you right now, the coaches may be great friends, but the players want a win. And Nebraska has come out with this sense of urgency. They're getting the job done on both the offensive and defensive end of the game early. There's Bean Willis. Career high 31 points. And a lopsided win over DePaul. Ohio scoring 99 points. That's a Diamond Head Classic record for a single game. Endor, that may have been partially blocked by Petaway. Nebraska bringing it the other way.
Parker will try a three. Willis clears the board, and a cheap foul committed by David Rivers in the backcourt.
And Nebraska has started off moving the ball very well. A number of guys getting their hands on it. And Shields, not just a scorer, but attracts the defense. Finds Benny Parker in the corner, who's good.
Parker, a 50% three-point shooter. Fourth meeting between these two teams. Nebraska has won all the three previous contests. Ryan Taylor with the pull-up.
That was a beautiful move by Ryan Taylor right there, using the screen and roll, then behind the back to find himself open.
Went for 13 points, a team high in the loss to start the tournament against George Washington. Colonials, of course, in the championship game. Then had 17 on 6 of 8 shooting in 38 minutes against DePaul a couple of days ago. Remember, a day off in this tournament, Christmas Eve, a day where teams can either pursue some local activities, they can watch some film. Ohio actually heading over to Pearl Harbor as part of their stay. As a foul is committed up top. It goes against Shields.
When you saw in the last possession for Nebraska, really what has been the Achilles heel for their team this season is the turnovers. Unforced turnovers, really giving the ball back, to the opposing team when it's not necessary. Their last game against Loyola Marymount had 12 more field goal attempts. And you can't give this guy, Bean Willis, more field goal attempts because he is lights out right now the way he shot the basketball over the past couple games.
Yeah, it looks like Bean Willis starting off where he left off. And it's a three-point contest. Shields trying to get right back at him. The rebound to Willis. And he's going to look to push. Stopping and popping. Pettaway ripping down the board. He goes coast to coast.
You see just a small glimmer of the abilities that Pettaway has. You talk about his size, 6'6", great body, NBA-ready body, but yet the ability to put the ball on the floor and make plays for himself as well as his teammates.
Endor working against Walter Pitchford. Got cut off. Laster will try a jumper, and he'll hit. So Ohio's starting to smooth things out a bit here early as well.
When you see Laster and Taylor, these guys making buckets, you got to remember these are two freshmen for Ohio. They're the two pieces that, of course, Coach Phillips has to build on. Speaking of building, the Cornhuskers have a junior that they've got a great opportunity to build on, a preseason All-American, Teran Pettaway, and he's come out on fire early in this game.
Entered the Diamond Head Classic, one of 11 Division I players averaging 19 points per game or better. The outside shot on occasion can come and go for Teran Pettaway. But when he has that going, combined with his ability to slash and get to the rim, it's a tough contest and assignment for anybody.
Well, and he was a guy that really considered coming out last year and going to the NBA, but one of the things he wanted to do was stick around and get better, not turn the basketball over as much, and work on that jump shot. And you see he's got a load of talent.
Preseason All-Big Ten this season, coming off of a first-team All-Big Ten selection last year. And here he is, matched up with Laster. Pettaway, pass underneath. And this is David Rivers, missing from up front.
You see, and Bean Willis getting a lot of attention. Every time he catches the basketball, he's going to have one or two Nebraska players in front of him, making sure that he does not get any easy looks.
Campbell will try a three. That one long. Rebound off to Rivers. And it's Terrence Smith. Check that Ty Webster into the front court. Here's Smith. And he gets fouled on the way up. Some aggressive play offensively for Nebraska early as we take a look at the remaining championship bracket. It is George Washington and 11th ranked Wichita State to do battle tonight at 8:30 Eastern on ESPN2. Roxy Bernstein, Dino Gaudio will have the call on that one. Should be a pretty entertaining third place game as well, Colorado and host Hawaii.
I believe we have a great slate of games on tap today. It's a Christmas gift. I mean, Christmas Day, you got to have great games, and they've definitely done that here at the Diamond Head Classic. I've enjoyed my time here. You know, of course, you get to spend Christmas in paradise. Who wouldn't enjoy that?
Not exactly a white Christmas.
Who needs snow?
But that might be a good thing.
Outside of Santa, who needs that? I'm okay with it not being a white Christmas.
That Smith free throw makes it a 16-9 advantage for Nebraska. Stevie Taylor on the floor. Senior guard wearing number 22 for the Bobcats. Endor trying to muscle against Pitchford, and he's able to win the battle. Maurice Endor showing some power there.
And this is a good test for Endor, having to go against a much bigger front line for Nebraska. Pitchford goes about 6'10", so it'll be interesting to see. Now, Pitchford is more of a perimeter-oriented guy. He's not necessarily a guy that's going to play a lot on the post, but still great size.
Maurice Endor, 15 points, 10 rebounds a couple of days ago against DePaul.
I mean, Endor likes to put the ball on the floor and be able to attack off the dribble. He's very similar to Pitchford, not a back-to-the-basket guy as much as he is a perimeter-oriented big, but you talk about two guys with great size and perimeter ability makes them special players.
Here's Webster trying a three. Left it short, and it finds its way out of bounds.
You see two guys on the floor with Webster and Endor both. They're two players that actually competed in the 2014 FIBA World Cup of Spain. Webster for New Zealand, and then Endor for Senegal. So you've got, two guys who have some, Olympic experience. Well, I won't call it Olympic, but international experience.
Petaway missing on the lay-in. The follow-up by Rivers is good.
David Rivers, the senior for Nebraska, getting a lot more minutes. Nebraska playing without two guys who they felt would be bigs for them this year due to injury. Moses Abraham as well as Leslie Smith. Both guys injured and could be out for the season. Not sure about Abraham at this point.
Underneath, good find that time. Rivers to Shields. Nebraska all over. Already largest lead here for the Cornhuskers in this opening half. Endor going to try to post him up. Taylor, that one off the heel, and Shields going up the elevator shaft for the rebound as the outlet pass almost picked off. Taylor into press row.
Well, Merry Christmas, press row. Here comes Stevie Taylor. You got a gift. You got a Bobcat for the holidays. Great hustle by Stevie Taylor. But one thing about Nebraska, when they get a rebound, they are going. These guys are off and running. It's going to be important for the Bobcats to get back on every possession because they've got a number of guys that can make plays in transition.
Petaway will try a three. Willis draws the double team. His pass will find its way in front of us. Seems as though the day off has
been over to Nebraska now in his second season. Was early previous at Georgetown, but has been a great addition to this Nebraska staff, especially when you think about, the resurgence of their program last year, making it to the NCAA tournament.
Yeah, coming off of a 19-13 season, finished fourth in the Big Ten. Here's Petaway. 10 seconds to shoot. Matched up with Endor. Crosses him up. Gives it to Shields. Misses the dunk. And he's going to be teed up for hanging on the rim.
Now, I don't like to disagree with the officials. You know that. However, I believe that it was necessary for Shields to hang on the rim on that possession because I believe someone was underneath him. Great move by Petaway. Drops it off to Shields. But as you see the defender goes down, well, it's said he was underneath there. If Shields had not hung on the rim, his momentum would have taken him down right on top of Seti. But I think that may have been a little extracurricular. I don't like to disagree with the officials, so I'm going with the officials. Good call on the technical foul. Even though if I were out there playing and that was me hanging around the rim, which I like to do every now and then, I would be disagreeing with them at that point.
I wish I could talk about this issue from experience with you.
You never hung around the rim? I'm sure you got a basketball court in your pool at home.
Maybe the net a couple of times. Dean Willis will shoot the free throw. And it's good. There was a conference among the officials, Mike Greenstein, Jose Carrion, and Terry Moore. What is referred to as a Class B technical foul for precisely hanging on the rim.
I've learned something today. I didn't know there were different classes of technical fouls. Can't all the technical fouls just get along? Do we need classes?
Aren't we past the class system in society? So Shields will take a seat.
Because that becomes, I believe, a personal foul as well.
No, Class B does not count as a personal foul.
That's why we need class. Maybe I need a class on technical fouls so I would know that it doesn't count as a personal foul. But I'm glad it doesn't. I mean, because at the end of the day, it wasn't anything malicious to where it should go against Shields as a personal foul.
So more discussion here with the officials. Might be looking at a time situation, possibly. This is another look. Shields going up with two hands.
You see Seti's there. If he lets go of the rim and doesn't swing back into the play, he does land on Seti.
Did a little bit of a pull-up maneuver.
Maybe the pull-up.
Yeah, but
well, you know why you have to do the pull-up, though, right? Because when people take pictures of you, you have to look like your head is closer to the rim. And, of course, in the picture, he made that dunk. That's what he'll tell his grandchildren one day anyway.
So you were learning moments ago. Now you're teaching.
Well, I told you about all my missed dunks. And on those pictures that I have, I tell my son, oh, you know I made that dunk.
Kanoa Leahy, Corey Alexander coming to you from the Stan Sheriff Center. Fifth place game of the 2014 Hawaiian Airlines Diamond Head Classic. Ohio coming in 4-5. Cornhuskers with a 7-4 record.
Coach Miles seems to be taking it all in stride. The Christmas spirit, he's not going to be too upset about it. Doesn't like the fact that it's a technical on his guy and he doesn't get the ball back, but he'll live with it, move on with a smile.
So we get back to basketball. Here's Endor squaring up against Pitchford. That's a nice looking move. Very smooth from the 6'9" senior who has a 7'5" wingspan himself.
Very nice move by Endor. And again, just showing a little bit of the ability that he has to be able to put the basketball on the floor.
Here's a turnover. Willis stopping and popping for three. And it'll stay here with the Bobcats.
Nador with a great job with a face-up move. We talked about not necessarily a back-to-the-basket guy, but nice footwork, getting to his sweet shot and knocking down the jumper in the corner.
Second team all Mid-American Conference selection last year. Saul Phillips, head coach for Ohio, who is the king of the coaching one-liners. We asked him about Maurice Endor. He says he's just like you and me, except he has a 7'5" wingspan and speaks 5 languages.
You have to love the way Coach Phillips puts everything in perspective. There was even a story about a Batmobile, but we're not going to bring that one up.
Endor double teamed, almost lost it. And a cutting Laster is fouled. They're going to give this one to Benny Parker, a defensive foul. An out-of-conference doubleheader highlights ESPNU at 2. Long Beach State travels to the East Coast to take on Syracuse. And later, Bryce Alford leads UCLA against Alabama. Long Beach State, Syracuse at 2. Then UCLA, Bama at 6:30 Sunday on ESPNU, the home court of college hoops. 5-point differential here at the midway mark of this first half. Willis, tough shot.
And he's getting a lot of attention. He's going to have to shoot over 2 players, and the defense is going to know where he is at all times.
Here's Shields. Pitchford, he likes this shot. Wasn't able to find it there, and Treg said he pulls down the board.
Pitchford hit 41 3-pointers a year ago. Transferred from Florida, and most people will look out there and see the 6'10" guy shooting a bunch of threes, but he's good at it. Shot close to 40% last year, and the guy that they want to be able to find looks on the outside.
Here's Seti. He'll try a three. Petaway clears it for Nebraska. And he gets fouled at the top of the circle by Maurice Endor.
And if you're Endor, that's not a good foul. He's a guy that's important for Ohio to stay on the court. You don't want to waste fouls 30 feet away from the basket with a guy that's really not your man, one, but more importantly, not even attacking at that point. Petaway's just pushing the ball down the floor, trying to get his team in the offensive scoring position. But you don't want to waste a foul at that time of the game.
Here's Shields, wide open.
Great execution by Nebraska right there. Shields unable to finish, and that's really not the strength of his game. He's not a great shooter, a guy that's used to slashing, but got a good look on that one.
Campbell working in on pitch for a couple of big bodies going at it. Now bodies on the floor, and it'll be a tie-up. Possession arrow points in the direction of the Cornhuskers.
Now that is the game for all the players from Nebraska. The stingy defense not giving you anything. Getting the job done. They played Loyola Marymount to a 35-35 end of regulation game. Now they exploded in overtime, scoring 15 points in overtime, but 35-35 at the end of regulation. Dr. Naismith might even be upset about that one.
Both teams experiencing a bit of a cool streak here the last few minutes. Petaway missing the runner. Nebraska now one of its last 9 from the field. Here's Willis, got the step. Shovels it underneath, and putting it up and in is Mike Laster, another one of these pretty talented crop of freshmen for the Bobcats.
And a great play by Bean Willis, beating the defense, but knowing that he was going to get the attention at the rim, finding Laster for a layup.
Pitchford almost lost it. It's a 3-point ball game here, under 8 minutes to play in the first half. Nebraska has experienced these lulls previous rounds of the Hawaiian Airlines Diamond Head Classic. Petaway's going to try to see if he can apply a spark, but it is blocked out of bounds. It will stay here with Nebraska.
Guys are two great, I don't want to call them characters, but great personalities.
Petaway with the shot clock winding down, had to force one up. Good job by Campbell not to foul him. And it is a shot clock violation.
And you see, this is great defense by Ohio. When you make somebody put the ball behind the basket and try to shoot it, that's going to be tough, a tough look. Great understanding of and awareness of the shot clock coming out of the timeout.
Willis getting double teamed, goes deep corner to Seti. And his pass right through the hands of Ryan Taylor. 4 turnovers for each side.
And again, this is a product of that day in between games we talked about. Now, Nebraska playing against Ohio, understanding that Bean Willis went for 31 in his last time out. Every time he comes off a screen, he's going to have 2 Nebraska defenders right there with him. They're not going to give him any easy looks.
Here's Shields dumping it down to Rivers. Turnaround shot. Rebound Campbell. Nebraska struggling from the field here over the course of the last few minutes.
But Nebraska is actually adept at knowing they're going to go through their droughts. They hang their hat on making sure they're very good defensively, and they're stingy on the other end. If they're not going to score, they can't allow you to score either.
Campbell, jump hook. That one rattles in and out. And Petaway clears it. Yeah, if you like the defense, then you love Nebraska going up against LMU as Shields draws the whistle on the baseline drive. That Nebraska-LMU game from a couple of nights ago was 21-16 at halftime. It went into overtime tied at 35, and that's a result and a byproduct of some of what you see there. The defensive mindedness of Tim Miles and his philosophy.
But how about the fact that they're at 38% this year, and they're further down the ladder at 38% opponent's field goal percentage, and they're only 42nd in defensive efficiency rank. So that tells you there are a lot of great defensive teams in college basketball right now.
Shields knocking down the free throws. He's got 9. You've talked about it. That's been one of your observations about the landscape of college basketball here in recent times?
Well, defense is way ahead of offense, and I think a number of reasons behind that. I don't think that players are as skilled. Well, Ryan Taylor would take exception to that because he knocks down the three. But I'm not sure overall guys are as skilled now as they used to be. I believe they're better ball handlers and better athletes, but I think shooting is really a lost art.
Better way to pull up. Rebound Willis. He finds Endor down at the other end. Went up to cram it, got blocked by Petaway. Parker trying to hang on to the possession, turns it over. And Willis throws it out of bounds, trying to drop it off to Endor.
But give Endor a tremendous amount of credit for the defensive job that they did on Parker, not allowing him even to get the ball across half court. Unfortunately for Ohio, they hand it right back over to the Cornhuskers. But these guys are getting after it, and you love to see that. You're talking Christmas morning in Hawaii. Both teams have lost a game here and won a game here. How important is it for you to come in here and be successful on your last day out, about to head into conference play, and both teams putting it on the line here this morning?
And that's going to be a foul in the post. It's going to go against Mike Laster.
And that's just one of the points of emphasis right there. You cannot put that forearm bar on a opposing player, whether his back is turned to you or not. You cannot do that.
Yeah, Rule 10-1-4. I mean, any form of the hand or forearm or elbow.
I mean, again, how impressive is that you know the number of the rule? I tell you what, I am hanging out with the guy here.
Shields got stripped by Seti. Nice defensive play by Seti. He is an energizer for this Ohio team off the bench.
He really is. Had a great game the last time out against DePaul, doing it. I mean, 17 points. Then, of course, was able to come up with huge rebounds and threw probably 3 to 4 alley-oops alone.
Endor. That one rattles in and out. Look who gets the offensive board. Seti and one.
You have to love it when you talk good about a guy and they reward you, and it pays off by great effort, great hustle. Endor with the jump shot. Seti not resting on his laurels, going in, getting the board, offensive rebound, and to put back an opportunity for a three-point play.
Also foul number 3 on Benny Parker. So concerned there if you're Nebraska at the 4:52 mark of this opening half. But it sends Treg Seti, 6'8", 195-pound redshirt junior from Maysville, Kentucky, to the free throw line. Began his college career at Southern Illinois. Unable to complete the three-point play, however.
But you didn't say the most important stat, that he was an American Idol contestant.
He was.
And you said he passed through.
He got through the first round.
Yeah, that's an accomplishment in itself. But I can tell you right now, I would not make it through the first round. I can whistle with the best of them, though, just so you know.
We might have to take you to one of those karaoke bars that we have here.
Wait a minute. No.
See what you got.
You have to sing those. I told you, I'm a whistler.
Petaway pulls up and hits.
Really impressed with him. And when you look at Nebraska and you look at their lineup, Benny Parker's there. Then you have Ty Webster, both of those guys, point guard size. But the true point guard for Nebraska is Teran Petaway.
Petaway now with 9 points as a foul is called against Nebraska. Saturday on ESPNU, it's the inaugural Burger King State Champions Bowl Series, where 6 state champs and 11 players in the ESPN 300 collide on the national stage. The 2014 Burger King State Champions Bowl Series kicks off Saturday at noon on ESPNU. How fun of a time in the world of sports is it right now, with college basketball approaching conference play, NBA getting deeper into the season. Right around Christmas time is when things definitely start to pick up. You have the bowl season in college football, high school recruiting. Oh, a lot to talk about.
And we won't mention NFL regular season coming to an end and playoffs around the corner. Nebraska has a 2-point lead over Ohio. We'll be right back
here at the Stan Sheriff Center.
Is that Christmas spirit with those pajamas? I know we've got green, we've got red. I'm colorblind, but I get those two primary colors. That's Christmassy.
Yeah.
Green and red. But I'm still confused on those outfits. I don't know if that was what they woke up with under the tree. Oh, they elves. Oh, see, the belt is what was hidden before and now lets me know. Okay, elves. Great job, guys.
Yeah, and you know what else it does?
What else is it?
It gets you on television.
This is
when you
very
show
true. This is very true. It gets us talking about them.
There you go.
I won't say anything about Halloween was 2 months ago. I will just say I understand.
Endor backing in on Pittsburgh. Draws a double, dribbles out of it himself. Kicks it off to Willis, and he walked with it. Shuffled the feet. 6th turnover for the Bobcats.
But Willis was able to knock down 1-3 early in the game, and since then he has had extra special attention paid to him by the Nebraska defense, not giving him any looks or any quality looks at all. But Nebraska, unable to really get much going as far as offensive end, have done the job on the defensive side of the basketball.
Ty Webster, number 0 for Nebraska, back on the floor. Here's Petaway stopping and popping and hitting.
He's really starting to pick it up offensively. They're knocking down a couple of jump shots. And Coach Moss talked about the fact that they had a tough time scoring when he wasn't on the floor. And missing him in the first half of their last 2 games was tough. But right now he's been adding that energy on the offensive end.
Taylor for 3. Rebound slapped together by Rivers. Pitchford, the pump and go. Missed it, but Rivers there to clean up the spill. And a timeout taken by Saul Phillips in the Ohio box.
Nebraska and Ohio and Virginia, where I live. And now you got a conference season around the corner. So you want to enjoy your time here in Hawaii, but you also want to walk away with as many wins as possible. And both these teams with that opportunity for a second win here this morning.
.237 left to play. That one goes against Pittsburgh. Both teams now with 17 fouls, so bonus free throws coming up for Maurice Endor, a 79% free throw shooter. Fluent in 5 languages, including French and Japanese. Spent time in Japan actually playing prep basketball there.
That's amazing. 5 languages. I'm still trying to get Hawaiian down.
You've made some strides, let me tell you.
I have made strides. Well, I'm politicking. I'm working on my invite back for next year, so I'm trying to,
Hey, it's all about repetition.
Absolutely. I don't think I'll really get it right until like my 10th trip here. So I want to make sure that everyone at the Hawaiian Airlines Diamond Head Classic remembers that. I need at least 10 trips to get my Hawaiian down.
Petaway, this is from some distance. Rebound off to Laster. He gets it poked away from behind by Webster, and Nebraska takes over once again.
A great hustle play by Ty Webster there, gaining another possession for his team.
So it goes in the books as a 7th turnover for the Bobcats. Webster tried to find Rivers, but right there, the energy guy, Seti, who goes coast to coast. And he'll shoot free throws. Treg Seti at 6'8". A guy that can dribble, he can rebound, and he just plays with such a fire.
Well, and he comes up with the steal here, and you don't normally have a 6'8" guy who can take it from coast to coast with the steal and have an opportunity to get a basket. But Treg Seti definitely has the skill and the ability to be able to do it. We saw him throughout the entire week, a multi-dimensional player. And most importantly about him, he'll come off the bench and give you great production. He'll start and give you great production. It doesn't matter what role he has to play for this team. He gives Coach Phillips everything he has the entire time he's on the court.
And this is the first free throw attempt. Had 17 points, 9 rebounds in the 99-78 win over DePaul a couple of days ago.
And I forgot to mention he also has great hair.
Yeah, you mentioned that a couple of times already in this tournament.
Yeah, but I didn't do it today, and it's Christmas, and I have to make sure I give him one of the most ultimate compliments you can get on Christmas Day. Having great hair, that's big.
Tell me about it.
You know all about it.
No, I don't. That's why it's so impressive to me. Aaron Smith with it. Gets the step, tried to drop it off to Rivers, and It's Seti obstructing things yet again.
But I love that play for a number of reasons. Taking the ball out of bounds, Teran Petaway told Smith, no, you run it, you run it. The leader stepping up and not saying give me the ball, but he's trying to encourage his teammates to be successful. And Smith doing a great job getting into the lane, unable to finish with the pass, but you have to love it when your best players are trying to promote confidence in his teammates.
So Webster to inbound. Gets it to Rivers. 8 seconds to shoot. Petaway recognizes it, tried to kick it to Rivers, and it's a turnover. Ohio coming the other way. 8 turnovers now for the Huskers, and the stop and pop by Willis, no good. Seti gets another possession for Ohio, and a foul then committed near the free throw line area. It's going to go against Terrence Smith.
And if there is one drawback in Petaway's game, it is the turnovers. Now his 4th turnover in the first half. We mentioned he is a ball handling guard. He's not a, just run the wing type of guy. So he's going to have the ball in his hands a lot. But one of the reasons that he's back in school, he wanted to be able to, get better at that. He and Shields as well. Shields had 7 turnovers in their last game out against Loyola Marymount. So both of these guys will turn it over, but great playmakers as well.
With that said, how tooled is his overall game and ability for the next level, you think?
To run their offense, but they will get up and down the floor and put big numbers on the board. James Blackman Jr. doing a great job, as well as Robert Johnson and Yogi Ferrell at Indiana. That makes a formidable tandem in the backcourt.
Indiana next on the schedule for Nebraska when they get out of the islands. That'll be December 31st in Lincoln. Under a minute to play.
So you mean to tell me that Nebraska's playing on Christmas Day and New Year's Eve?
Who drew that up?
Yeah, really?
Seti. Driving baseline, relocates it up top to Willis. He'll try a 3 and knock it down.
You have to love how calmly he just stepped into that shot. Even though he had 2 defenders running at him, he did not rush it. Steps up and knocks down a huge 3 that now gets his Ohio team knotted up and tied with Nebraska. Can they get a stop heading into the half?
An 8-0 run for the Bobcats, and Petaway clutches it, waiting for the final shot of this opening stanza. Petaway deep into the lane. He'll go to the free throw line with 3.1 on the clock.
And at home, it may be hard to realize, but this is not a small guy coming through the paint right here. That is 6'6", 200-plus pounds of Teran Petaway, agile, finding his way to the rim. Just continues to add that pressure onto the defense of Ohio. Great ball handling skills for a guy his size.
And there's a little more of them this year than last year. Put on about 15 pounds, they said, in the offseason.
Well, he's listed as 215 now, so it means he was 200 last year. So when I say 200-plus, we're somewhere in that range.
Yeah. 2 seconds, 1 second. It'll be Stevie Taylor blocked. A nice defensive play by Terrence Smith from the floor in that first half. We got a 2-point ball game here as we get the second stanza underway. Bobcats will control.
Coach Phillips coming out wanting to get Maurice Endor involved on the move early in this game, early in the second half, but Nebraska prepared for it on the defensive end.
And they force a turnover. So 13 and 8 for Teran Petaway. He's high man for Nebraska. A couple of guys with 8 points apiece for Ohio. It's Endor and Bean Willis. The Huskers getting into their stuff.
And we can't, Shields had to sit out quite a bit of the first half in foul trouble. So when you think about that, he was an issue for not being able to score on the end for Nebraska. But Pittsburgh stepping up, knocking down his first 3 of the game. And he's a guy that, Nebraska has started to rely on offensively here. They would need for him to be that third scorer.
Another steal by Nebraska. This time is Petaway coming out of there with it. Taking it all the way to the rack, and he gets fouled.
And it's always hard on your defense when you have to account for your power forward or really your center, as Pittsburgh's able to step out and knock down the three ball. He's not the traditional big, 6'10", but he is a very capable shooter from beyond three-point arc. But more importantly, when you have a guy like that, not only does he, stretch the defense, but he takes away your best shot blockers most of the time and your best interior defenders. It keeps them out of the paint, which gives you driving lanes for guys like Shields and Petaway.
Meanwhile, best shot blocker for Ohio, Maurice Endor, picking up his third foul, leading to the Petaway free throws, and then a foul committed by Ohio as Rivers got his hands on the offensive board.
Well, Petaway not happy about the fact that he missed 2 free throws, but Rivers, with a great effort, comes up with the offensive board, and now a 4th foul on Endor, taking away one of the top players for Ohio, most likely for the remainder of the second half.
Free throw trickles in for Rivers. Endor second on the team in scoring, but he's tops on the team in rebounding and block shots and minutes played. But we probably will not see him for a significant period of time here in the second half.
Yeah, you can't risk, really him picking up that 5th and being disqualified from the game when you could very well need him down the stretch. So it'll be interesting to see how Coach Phillips goes about coaching it up without Endor on the court.
So a difficult hand here early on in the second half dealt to Saul Phillips. Ohio trailing by 7. Taylor. Good pump fake, and the pull-up is good.
I tell you, he has really been impressive here throughout the week. Brian Taylor, the freshman, is starting to really grow into his role with the Ohio Bobcats, shooting the ball extremely well.
Was recruited by Saul Phillips when he was still at North Dakota State, signed with Ohio after Phillips took over here.
I'm going to say he made a good choice because, outside of battling with mono throughout the first part of the year, he has really been impressive, as has this young man, Teran Petaway, who continues to fill it up from the outside.
15 points, 8 rebounds for Petaway. Craig Setti got it stripped, and then a foul is committed. This Nebraska defense has been harassing in this second half.
You see Petaway, and we talked about his ability to handle the basketball, really more than just a slasher. Does a great job manipulating the screen and roll right there, understanding right how to get to his spots. Good footwork, and able to step up and knock down the 17-footer.
Yeah, if he has the jumper going, as Campbell tries a 3, Petaway another rebound, he's just 1 board away from a double-double. If he has the outside shot going, he's tough to stop.
Really. And he's not a selfish player, though. You see that he's more than willing to give the basketball up and share it, often at times too much, which results in some of his turnovers.
Taylor falls to the floor, and it'll be a tie-up call. And the possession arrow will send it the other way in the direction of the Huskers. 10th turnover for Ohio.
And you can see just how tough Benny Parker is as a defender. As a freshman, he already has 4 games with 4 steals early in the year. So for Javarius Willis, who, of course, is the leading scorer for Ohio, he's had to deal with that type of defensive pressure all game long. He's gotten loose a couple of times, but for the most part, Parker has been everywhere he's gone the entire morning.
Yeah, last year, despite playing fewer than 15 minutes a game, Parker still led Nebraska in steals. Pitchford got it stripped by Setti. Last touched out of bounds by Ohio, so it stays here. Craig Setti getting some early action here in this second half. An example of how you can impact a game without necessarily being a guy who primarily touches the basketball.
Absolutely.
Shields. He had 9 first half points. Willis for 3. Yes, Bean Willis stepping into it.
And Bean Willis understanding he's not going to get a lot of clean looks, especially when he has Parker guarding him. But that time, transition matchup, and he's able to walk right into an easy 3. And he continues to shoot the ball at a high clip.
Played with Petaway for a year when they both were at Texas Tech. Now matched up on opposite sides on the last day of the Hawaiian Airlines Diamond Head Classic. Petaway left alone for 3. And his former teammate pulls down the rebound. Willis earning his way to the line.
And that's one of the things you have to like about Bane Willis's game. He's not just a three-point shooter. He also understands how to attack the basket. This time, great job splitting the pick and roll, getting into the paint, understanding he's amongst the trees, going up, absorbing the contact, and finding a way to get himself to the free throw line.
That's 3 fouls now on Teran Petaway. With 16:23 left to play, Willis sticks the first free throw. And every time it seems as though Nebraska has gone out to a substantial lead, their biggest of the game being 9, Ohio has been able to creep back in. They were down just 2 at halftime, and here they are now with a chance to once again cut it to 2 as Petaway takes a seat.
And more often than not, it's this guy, Bane Willis, who's taking advantage of knocking down the shot or finding one of his teammates to start that run for Ohio. And he's done it once again and now finds himself within 2 points of the Cornhuskers and an opportunity to get a stop and a score to get a tie or a lead. We'll also have to look at Nebraska's offense with Petaway on the sideline now at picking up that 3rd foul. How will they operate?
Pitchford for 3.
I believe they're going to check that one at the timeout.
Head coach Tim Miles saying Pitchford is a matchup nightmare potentially because of his size and ability to shoot from the outside. Willis hits the J right in the face of Walter Pitchford.
And that's a matchup nightmare regardless of the size. When you have to guard a guy with that type of ability to spin move off of the screen and roll and then knowing exactly when to pull up and knocking down the jump shot, that's tough to cover.
Shields rises up with 10 on the shot clock. Willis will bring it the other way for the Bobcats. He'll try another 3. Pitchford brings it down. Now Nebraska looking to force the issue. It's Shields. Offensive rebound, Rivers. And he's fouled before he can work up another shot attempt.
Great basketball on both sides of the floor.
Despite the hands up, what they cleared up with us just now is that they actually ruled that a 2.
Okay.
And so now they're sticking with the fact that it is a 2.
Well, I can take that. Again, not enough evidence to overturn it either way.
Either way.
I can understand that. My eyes aren't the greatest either, so therefore I'm nearsighted. And that was way too far away from me.
Here's a steal by Parker. Leaves it for Shields. And he gets bumped along the way from behind by Willis. Willis, by the way, has accounted for the last 7 Ohio points. But that time committing the foul.
We talked about Benny Parker, the junior point guard, and his ability really just to come up with the basketball and take it away from the opposing team. 4 steals already. I mean, 4 different games, but 4 steals already this season. And he understands how to get it out in transition and find the scores once he comes up with the basketball.
So Siobhan Shields knocking down the free throw. He's the son of College Football Hall of Famer at Nebraska, 12-time Pro Bowl lineman with the Chiefs, Will Shields.
That's some type of resume right there. It takes like an hour to get out all those accolades.
It's a long list for Will Shields, there's no doubt.
Really? Shields got off to a great start. Scored the first 5 points of the game for Nebraska. Really got going early, but sat down after a little while after doing his chin-up on the rim.
He's got 11 points now. Willis looking to get rid of it. Now they can reset with 15 on the shot clock. Taylor will try a quick 3. Rebound off to Smith. Smith, the pull-up.
That's probably a quicker shot than what Coach Miles wants to see. You know, we talk about the offense from Nebraska with Petaway on the bench. They've gotten a bucket from Pittsburgh, and they've also got points from Shields. But the thing is who will continue to be their guys? They got to make sure that these guys get quality looks every time down the floor while Petaway's on the sideline. Well, that won't be long.
Smith picking up the foul, and with that, Petaway coming back onto the floor. So he has 3 fouls. On the other side, Maurice Endor, top rebounder and shot blocker for Ohio. He's been sitting since very early on in this second half, having picked up 2 quick fouls. He's got 4.
And we saw, coming out of halftime, Coach Phillips ran the first play for Endor, wanting to get him established. But now when you think about it, they've had to play the majority of the second half without indoor, that definitely threw a monkey wrench into the plans of Coach Phillip, how he wanted to attack here in the second half.
Willis going cross court. Setti at the top. Gets past Shields. Muscle shot, no. And the rebound's collected by Rivers. Head away, fouled on the drive. And again, you see that lightning quick first step of Teran Petaway.
Yeah, for those who don't know as much about him, this guy's good. I mean, like I said, I've seen him on TV, but seeing him up close in person, you know, he's bigger than you really would expect for him to be. And then when you think about the way he handles the basketball and makes plays, he's a special talent.
Pitchford. That one rattled in and out. Looked like he made sure he got the feet behind the line there.
Yeah, he did that. Never like for when they take away points. You know, guys that count points in their heads. Not that I would ever do anything like that.
Of course not.
You know, when you get to the end of the game, you're like, no, I had 30, not 29.
Said he missed that one. And another cool streak being endured by either side right now. Shields steps through. He's got 13.
These guys are great getting to the basket. When you think about Shields, you almost talk about a football mentality, just putting that shoulder down, getting to the rim, and daring an opposing player to step in front of you. A charge would hurt going up against that guy.
I guess that football mentality makes sense considering the lineage. Nice reverse move that time by Laster.
And Laster, another one of the freshmen for Coach Phillips and Ohio Bobcats, really showing, you know, some of his skill level. And he and Taylor, two dynamic wings for Coach Phillips to build with in the future.
Tim Miles signaled all of the teams, particularly at the Luau banquet the night before the tournament got underway. And we've seen some fantastic basketball, and it seems as though all of the participants have really had a quality time. Some of the teams like Nebraska, Ohio, checking out Pearl Harbor and the USS Arizona Memorial. And so taking a lot away from this journey to the islands. Good drop off from Petaway to Rivers.
And a great play by Petaway, attacking the basket once again, but not looking selfishly, drawing the defense, dropping it off for Rivers, who gets an easy basket.
The lead is 6 for Nebraska. Make that 4 after the nifty move by Stevie Taylor.
Good to see Stevie Taylor back out moving around well. Turned his ankle in the first game. Didn't have a huge game in the second one, but they didn't need a lot of effort from him. But they're going to need him to step up here if they want a chance to win this one against Nebraska.
Smith gets the step. He goes up and in, +1.
Terrence Smith doing his job. Get it.
Every once in a while you circle a game on the college basketball schedule. That's definitely one that we've been anticipating for some time now.
Absolutely. A state divided by blue or red. 2 national championships in the last 3 years between those two programs. So it'll be interesting to see who comes out on top today. Me, as well as many people, feel like if Louisville can't beat Kentucky, Kentucky could go undefeated at least until the NCAA tournament. I mean, of course, they will have to play against Florida twice. But outside of that, there's very few teams that will be able to challenge Kentucky moving throughout the regular season.
Petaway on the collision with Taylor. They'll give the foul to Taylor.
But that was fortunate for Nebraska, because that could have been foul number 4 on Petaway, getting along the baseline. And that is a smart play by Taylor. Even though he doesn't come away with it, it's a very smart play by Taylor to step over there, because if you can get Petaway to pick up that 4th foul and he has to go sit down, the Nebraska offense drops off significantly.
So Petaway will go to the free throw line as Ohio at 17 fouls. And he knocks down the front end of the bonus. Maurice Endor back on the floor, number 5 for Ohio, playing with 4 fouls. How about the matchup, though, of Petaway and Willis, the 2 guys who were formerly teammates at Texas Tech? You have Petaway with that free throw now, 17 points, 9 rebounds. Willis, 15 points, 8 rebounds.
I'm sure they were texting each other before the game yesterday, telling each other how bad they were going to do their opposing teams. But it's a good type of, you talk about the relationship between the coaches, and we see a nice move by Antonio Campbell along the baseline. We haven't heard a lot from him so far in today's game, but a good time for him to really start getting involved in offense. But we talked about the relationship between the coaches. Also good to see two guys who have found success in different programs.
And it's going to be foul called against Rivers on the screen. That's his second.
Campbell doing a great job using his body. Felt Rivers leaning on him. Nice spin move to be able to finish. And Campbell, you know, a double-figure scorer for Ohio. They're going to need some production out of him. Endure back in the game, but he's a guy that they have to rely on to be able to get them points on the interior.
Taylor left it well short. The rebound off to Webster. And he's going to steer it into the front court. Nebraska preseason pick to finish 4th in the Big Ten Conference behind Wisconsin, the unanimous #1, Ohio State, and Michigan State in that order.
And Nebraska, one of those teams, really we had a number of them here in the Diamond Head Classic that come into this year with great expectations and have fallen off just a little bit. But this is an opportunity for them to get the thing going the right direction, especially before they get into conference play.
15 points for Shields. Yeah, 19-13 last year. Finished 4th in the Big Ten. Made the NCAA tournament for the first time since 1998. Here's a steal by Parker. And he got stripped on the way up. Quick hands by Taylor. It'll stay here with the Cornhuskers. Remember, though, Nebraska, you know, they went through some hardships early on in conference play a year ago. Started Big Ten 1-6 before winning 10 of their next 12.
Absolutely. You see Benny Parker getting a little taste of his own medicine as he's headed down to the other direction of the floor. But, you know, and Terran Pettaway, you know, said publicly, we don't want to be a team that is happy about getting into the NCAA tournament. We want more. And after that success last year, they came out poised to gain more, and they still have a chance to do it. They faltered a bit and have a couple injuries that have slowed them. But very little slows this guy down as he knows how to push the ball from one end of the court to the other, and no one picks him up. And he is too good of a player to allow to run free this way to the rim. He will hurt you every time. This time it'll have to be from the free throw line.
Foul called against Willis on that take by Pettaway. Endor was in the area, but wisely sidestepped as not to pick up his 5th foul. Ohio on the other side, of course, with a first-year head coach in Saul Phillips, but he had great success at North Dakota State. They won an NCAA tournament game last year, knocking off Oklahoma. And so they have some expectations coming in as the preseason #2 in the Mid-American Conference East Division.
Well, and I think those expectations follow the coach. I mean, when you think about Coach Phillips and what he did last year in North Dakota State, I'm not sure if he has the tools right now at Ohio to do it, but he's definitely going to leave his imprint in the program, and they're going to be a force to be reckoned with from the MAC very soon.
Now the largest lead of this game for Nebraska. Here's Endor all the way to the hoop.
That's a great response for Ohio, but you got to get back on defense against this Nebraska team because they will run it back at you.
Endor recovering. Now Pettaway with it, working against Seti. The steal by Endor. And it's going to be a race of bigs. Got stuffed at the rim. And it'll be a foul as Campbell tried to collect the rebound. But how about that foot race between 6'10", 237 Walter Pitchford and 6'9", 200-pound Maurice Endor?
Well, give Pitchford a lot of credit not giving up on this play. He doesn't foul, but his presence does bother Endor, who would have had an easy dunk. And now it's on Campbell. Well, I'm sorry, you're not even shooting free throws. So he saved 2 points right there for Nebraska and allows them to set their defense.
Benny Parker picking up his 3rd. Campbell will try a 3. He likes it. He likes it from out there.
He really does, and turns out to be a great possession for Ohio, knocking down the 3, but no one picks up the basketball, giving Webster a free run at the rim.
Couldn't hit, though, from point-blank range.
Well, the officials not feeling, though, the shot clock should have reset because the ball didn't hit the rim on Webster's layup. But this is a guy, you got to locate where Campbell is on the floor. He's capable of knocking down the 3. And he's had a very good start to his second half. Now he's got to continue to provide that type of production if the Bobcats are going to have a chance.
Another great line from Saul Phillips talking about Tony Campbell. Says he has the Sam Perkins starter kit going.
Exactly.
He likes to shoot from out there. There's even sort of a physical resemblance.
Absolutely. But I can remember playing against Sam Perkins in the NBA, and when he got a look like this, you may as well start running back to the other end because it was good. But they're still checking the shot clock to make sure they had it right. Webster came down the floor, and I don't think the shot clock started early. But I think there was actually a reset when the ball did not hit the rim on the missed layup.
Mike Greenstein putting down the headset. And so they'll put the shot clock to 29 seconds. 8:22 left to play in this second half on the game clock. But again, Nebraska up 10 just moments ago. Ohio has cut it back down to 5. Shields adding back to it.
Man, he is a handful when he decides he wants to get to the rim. It is very little you can do about it. Treg Setty, a good defender, but no match for Shields on that possession.
Willis finds Setty, deep corner, 4-3. Yes, Treg Setty.
Treg Setty, I love the celebrations, but he knows he better get back on defense because Nebraska will run it down your throat if you celebrate too long.
And it's a 4-point differential here, under 8 to go. Smith getting baseline. Look at the ball movement. Pitchford from the top. 9 seconds to shoot. Good defensive possession by Ohio thus far. It'll be Parker left corner. Rebound off to Setty. And Ohio with a chance to cut it down to 2, maybe even 1 with a triple. Endor too strong off the glass. Pitchford collects it. And Taylor slow to get up for Ohio. One step inside the arc, and Pitchford rattles it home.
How calm is he behind the line? Knows the defender's coming at him. Pump fake. One step and knocks the jump shot down. Big bucket by Walter Pitchford.
Pitchford, the first Nebraska scholarship player from the state of Michigan in almost 2 decades. He is a Grand Rapids guy. As mentioned, started his career at Florida. And here's an overplay steal by Terrence Smith. Smith pulling the throttle.
And a great play by Smith. Understanding Endor has 4 fouls. He does not want to foul. Joe McDonald, Keithan Savage, and Patricio Garino. And then, you know, everybody knows about the backcourt with Van Fleet and Ron Baker. But, you know, I think the biggest key for that game is going to be the production of Kevin Larson. And if he's able to have a dominant performance against the Wichita State front line, George Washington could walk away here as the champion.
You see the 3-point numbers. Ohio putting up 20 3-point attempts. Nebraska in no hurry. Up 8. Under 6 to play. Pettaway. Got 7 on the shot clock. And it's going to be a defensive foul against Campbell. And that's going to send Pettaway to the line on the other side of this break. 4 fouls for big Tony Campbell.
Gifts, they just want to unwrap them. That's the biggest thing.
They're happy being at a basketball game on Christmas Day.
I got a teenager now. They're like, oh, you got to get me this.
Canola Leahy, Corey Alexander here coming to you from the Stan Sheriff Center on the campus of the University of Hawaii at Manoa. Final day of the Hawaiian Airlines Diamond Head Classic. Nebraska up 8 on Ohio, looking to leave the islands with a 2-1 record in this year's tournament. But they got to try to finish the deal here over the last 5 minutes plus. It's going to be a push-off foul called against Shields. That's his 3rd.
Good job by Laster, really getting his body in front of Shields, forcing him to push off.
A move by Endor, turning the corner, worked it up in and one.
Ohio needed that. Maurice Endor coming up with a big bucket for the Bobcats, showing off just some of that perimeter skill we talked about with him. The spin move, presence of mind to switch it to his left hand and just get it up on the rim, giving it a chance to go in through the contact. Now capitalize at the free throw line.
Left the free throw short, however, so there's still a 6-point differential. So plenty of hoops remaining here in this 5th place contest. Petaway to Shields for 3. And Rivers scrambling for the rebound. Great hustle from David Rivers.
And those are the type of plays and the type of players, David Rivers, that gives your team a chance to be successful. Not always about the points or the numbers, but making the energy and effort plays and gaining another possession for your basketball team and an opportunity to increase your lead.
Yeah, Tim Miles saying David Rivers is the kind of guy who only cares about winning. He is willing to do whatever it takes to help the team.
And Rivers really playing out of position. You know, because of the injuries, he's having to step up and play as a big. But really, that's not what his game is. But, of course, more than big enough and tough enough to get it done.
The drop-off from Willis. And Laster got blocked from behind. Petaway then fouled as he tried to tear to the hoop.
Petaway getting it done on both ends of the floor, not giving up with the play, coming up with the block, and then pushing it at the other end and continues just to apply that pressure, keeping his foot on the gas pedal, making sure that Ohio has to account for him every time they come down the court.
Petaway with 19 points, 10 rebounds, his 4th career double-double, 2nd of the season. And he knocks down the free throw, so give him 20 and 10.
That's pretty impressive for a guy who really plays the point guard position. 20 and 10 coming out, does have 5 turnovers, but had 4 of those in the first half, only 1 in the second half. 2 assists, but you would think more than that. He may not always get the assist, but he's the one making the pass before the assist, but doing a great job of the floor game as well as scoring the basketball to help out the Cornhuskers.
We talked about it early, avoiding foul trouble, key to the success of Teran Petaway and thus the success of the Cornhuskers, and he's done that for the majority here in this one. An 8-point advantage here for Nebraska, under 4 to go. Willis with it, 10 seconds to shoot. Gets by Shields, got stripped down low, though, and the takeaway by Terrence Smith. Nebraska has locked things up on defense several occasions in this second half.
A great decision by Terrence Smith, not forcing anything. Getting it out, setting and running your offense, trying to get the best quality look for your team.
15 turnovers for the Bobcats. They average 12 a game. So the Huskers have been bothersome. The setup for Pitchford. His foot was on the line, so that's a 2-pointer. Clear signal that time from the officiating crew.
Pitchford needs to cut his toenails or something, man. He got to stay off the line. You can't keep giving back that point. But I tell you what, you know, people talk about that's the worst shot in the game of basketball. If it goes in, I'm with it. I don't care. So what, you don't get 3. I'd rather have 2 than nothing.
Campbell right back at you, and that one was worth 3.
And he did cut his toenails because he was behind the lines to make sure they don't take away any of his points.
So you would be in favor of the pregame pedicure, perhaps?
Absolutely, absolutely. Although I'm not sure anyone really wants to mess with my feet. I don't have ugly feet. They're just not the softest.
Here's Shields. 8 seconds on the shot clock. Got it poked away. Pitchford got it back. Shields in the lane. Yes. And a huge exchange when you look.
There's so many different avenues, but it was Shields really who got him started off to a great start, and he's been aggressive all afternoon as well.
The clock now also an adversary of the Bobcats at this stage, closing in on 2 minutes to go. And it will be a whistle away from the basketball as Pitchford and Campbell were fighting for position. It's a 9-point.
Been spectacular here this afternoon, but yet still has to finish this game. 2 minutes and 5 seconds left. Ohio probably going to make a strong run to try to get this thing close at the end.
Campbell to the free throw line, shooting 1-1, misses the front end. And Pitchford secures the rebound for the Cornhuskers. Nebraska can take its time as much as possible.
Absolutely. They've got the ball in the hands of the guy that they're most comfortable with, Durant Petaway, running the offense. And he's either going to make a play for himself or he'll get one of his teammates a quality shot.
It's Pitchford with 3 to shoot. Little fadeaway shot. The rebound, Campbell. $1:25 left to go.
And that wasn't the greatest shot for Nebraska, but they did use all 35 seconds of the shot clock.
Campbell from deep. Endor had his hand on it. It goes out of bounds, and it belongs to the Cornhuskers. Saul Phillips watching his team as they try to come from behind here, down 9 with 1:15 left. Taking it to a broader perspective, though, what did you see out of these two teams here this week in Hawaii, considering what's coming up on their schedule?
Well, you know, from today's action alone, you see that Nebraska is a very good team, and I'm sure they came in expecting to be in this championship game, but Wichita State winning that side of the bracket, George Washington winning the other side. We'll see a great championship matchup today. But when you look at Nebraska, this is a team that has a chance to be really good. Of course, if they're able to get back Moses Abraham and have that size up front to compete in the Big Ten, I think they could have a successful year once again. Ohio, I think they're still building. New coach and Coach Phillips, but a seasoned coach and knows how to develop a program and winning teams. I think they'll be just fine. This may not necessarily be their best year, but they're moving in the right direction in the future.
Shields, how about that? An exclamation point as he stepped back behind the line against SETI. 22 points for Siobhan Shields. Willis in the lane. And the rebound off to Rivers. Knocked out of bounds by Taylor. It stays with Nebraska up a dozen with 32 seconds left. You know, getting back to Ohio, they're 4-5 coming in. They've played fewer games than most of the teams in this field. Saul Phillips says that's kind of by design because of the new faces on the squad, because of the new regime, this being his first year. He said we wanted to backload the schedule as much as possible to give us as much practice time as we went forward in the season.
But they'll have to play quality basketball in the MAC. The MAC is a very good conference, and you have a number of really good teams that they're going to go up against. But, you know, I can tell you right now, you're going to hear about Saul Phillips and the Ohio Bobcats. This guy is a great coach. He knows what he's doing along the sidelines. He's going to need some time to be able to develop that program back to where they've been in the past. They were an NCAA tournament team in 2012. And I think that, you know, and he has plans of staying at Ohio. He's not looking at it as a stepping stone job. And I think they can become a perennial contender to win the MAC.
Petaway with 22. So he and Shields each with 22 points. And it's desperation time, to say the least, here for the Bobcats. SETI underneath, layup no good. Pitchford rips it away. And that should just about do it. Ohio calling off the dogs. Shields will bring it into the front court. And the Cornhuskers, despite an opening round defeat in the Hawaiian Airlines Diamond Head Classic at the hands of host Hawaii, they will depart from the beautiful Hawaiian Islands with a 2-1 record in the tournament and a little momentum as the two friends, Tim Miles and Saul Phillips, who coached together at North Dakota State, embrace one another on this Christmas Day. Nebraska coming out